Hello everybody, welcome back. It's daylight again, as you can see, so I can actually see what the heck I'm doing while I'm building. I got some amazing suggestions, so thank you guys, I appreciate it. Stephen, you suggested that I put some bars up on the windows. You'll see I've done a little bit more down here. I've put up sort of like stuff and chairs and put some wood here. I finally remembered to put the cauldron on the fire. And of course, the wood is going to feed the fire. We have a rake. We have a shovel. We have some buckets of ash. And I've filled in all the rooms now. Now, you suggested I put bars over these pictures, and I took you up on your suggestion. I think that looks pretty darn good. And that is actually very simple because all I did was take a fence. That sounds weird, but I took a fence and I moved it close up to the picture and lifted it up. And this picture is slightly bigger, which is unfortunate. But it works if we do it that way. The other way to do it would be with our little friend, this, which we can also make all grungy, and we can also make it red, and we can basically follow that. So let's do that. And let's see. If I follow, I'm going to have to put my flashlight on because I'm never going to see this again. If I follow the bars, we can just extend them flashed green for me. It's not quite in line, but it's fine. And it blends into the wall so well, you'll only really see it in front of the picture, like that. And then we can just take the fence away. And here's your bars. And clean them up and tidy them up and all the rest of it at a later stage. But it's very effective as a sort of prison to keep the spooky people inside. And I like the fact that you can now, it needs to be moved slightly. It's not quite in line, but it's fine. We can also do that. I like the fact that you can color the old steel. So let's do this, and we can shuffle it along a little bit. So that one is definitely out. If I do that, makes all the other ones look fine. So there you go. So thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. The other thing I have done is, as you can see, we have a very fancy door here. So if we go up to the door and we open up, welcome to hell. We have stairs, very steep stairs, as you can see. Oh, I put fire down here, it didn't work. The wallpaper was much more effective. So you're literally just walking up the stairs or down the stairs. I thought that was quite cool. And I've used the pillars to actually just frame the door. There's lots to do still down here. We've got these catacombs. We've got another little room off here and another little room off there. So we've got lots to keep us busy. I'll put a wolf's head up there. And now the other suggestion, I think that was also Stephen, thank you, was a similar sort of, it's almost like we would call them here a wall of remembrance, where you can put plaques or urns into the wall, but it's outside. So that's why we've got all these things sitting here waiting to be used. And we've got that because that's the center. If I look at the fountain behind me, I'm going to pull it across and then put wings on it because everybody needs wings. Now, the one thing I want to do is try and, why am I there? Try and see if I can make, you see, I can't do that, but I can do that. Oh, man. Hello? Thank you. Now, we can do concrete. I have used granite, so we can actually place the granite. Because then if I do the wings, I can use that on top so I can place something, because I can place something on there and I can place something on there, but I cannot place anything on the our little favorite little block. So I can use the block to build stuff up. Okay, it's gonna want to live on a wall. We'll just keep it there for now. And I've also used this because I have figured out that I think even the biggest urn, okay, the biggest urn doesn't fit in there, but everything else does, right down to this little box here. So I think that will fit nicely onto the wall. So let's do that to start. And if we start here, let's go out 6. I'm not going to make it super high because then it's going to block the view for everybody, and that would be bad. Let's do that. And then we can take our block and it will stand. Of course you won't stand in the, is that the middle? It's the middle. Okay, so if that's there, I can put another row above it. I might not extend the wings up to the next level, but for here I think we should. Then we can use some of our fun edgings that we have discovered that work really well in building terms. So I think that will work nicely. So we've got 6 there. I'm going to leave the edges on, actually, you know what, I'm going to leave the edges on everything. And then we know this is 2 blocks wide, so I'm going to take my little square block. I'm going to build it so that it actually is the same size, and I think that's the right height. Okay, let's move this further out the way. Now we can actually move this by ourselves, and I'm going to take, I think, that, and then we can build another one similar to that, but a single brick wide, and bring it up just to there. So I think that will work. Let's tuck it in. I want it pretty much in the corner there. Now, they don't like stacking anymore. They're a pain, but that's okay because we'll stack it directly behind here, and then we can change it. Overlapping, isn't it? That's okay. I'm just going to have to shimmy it along a little bit. Shove that one in a little bit further, that's fine. I can set the whole thing up and then I can make it pretty. So that's where we are right this very minute. Let's get some granite. I'm keeping the little dudes out here by the plane because I want to be able to see them. And then we can move this. Go around the back and play. Looks really good there in the corner. I think that will do well for a memorial garden. What do you say? I think let's take that out because that'll be quite effective, and we can maybe put a pillar in on the sides there, and then we just have to match that up with our little friend here again. Gonna need a triangle there. That'll work. Do any last minute shoving and moving, that's not a problem. That works for me. I'm going to just color code this so that I can see if it's flickering a little bit there still. I take that out, it takes the flicker away. Okay, I think that works. And then obviously I'm going to use this one because I can always put it back again. We'll sort of fit in. Doesn't quite fit in nicely, but we can line it up. That's fine. Let's take that off and line it up a little bit better so it actually fits that corner there. It was meant to. There we go. And then we just need a little block that size and that height. And it's the easiest is to build it against an existing block. Like that. And then we just have to color it. So that pretty much looks similar to what we've got here. So I'm going to do that all along and then bring you back. Unable to use that. I shall have to put that in still. Well, not perfect just yet, but we're getting there. So we have all the little archways in place, and some of them will be very pleasant. Some of them I don't know so much. But yeah, we've got a few things that I need to just spend a bit more time playing with, as you can see here. But for a quick build, that's not bad. How did I get that? Has it stretched it in a weird way? Look at that. That's the same texture. And it's given it a weird feel. Oh well. I'll just do this for now. That's okay. We can cover up all the little bits and bobs with flowers and a couple of spider webs and stuff and things. Okay, we haven't quite got there. This needs to be expanded. That needs to be expanded. So there's a few things to do. Now, the one thing I do want to do is bring this along here and probably get another one of these, because we're going to have to put this on top here so we can actually stand stuff on top of these ones. Well, inside of these ones. So let's first of all place it. And then second of all, yes, we can do that. And then we just have to bring it up a little bit. That actually doesn't look too bad. Quite like the step. What do you say? It's quite cool. Literally a little step there. We can use the smaller stuff because that will obviously give it less height. As I'm looking at this, I can see all the floors. It's fine. We will fix the floors. How tall is that? That's way tall. I suppose I should be standing closer to it. That's okay. That's not bad. I promise when we come back again, we'll look at it again. And it will look a lot better and neater. Actually, that's pretty darn good. Maybe we'll just avoid some of the taller stuff. Oh, I like that. Okay. Now, the million-dollar question is going to be, what can we use? We've got various. We've got this, which I don't think... this little bit is the irritating thing. I'm thinking maybe something like that. Let's see. Base can be black granite, which is awesome. The sides cannot be, so I'm just going to make them plain black metal. Like that. That's pretty cool. I like that. Yes, I know I can fly, but that's beside the point. Now I'm guessing I'm not going to be able to do it on that one, but that's fine. I can, ooh. Wow. Okay, hold on. Let me fix this quickly. This is bugging me now. And it's not going to stop bugging me. It. Now let's see what it looks like. Much better. Okay, I can live with that. As opposed to those huge gaps. Let's do this side quickly. We've got a lot of... that's just going to have to do. Now, these are not lined up in any shape nor form. So I'm going to have to find a central one to line up with. Let's line up with that one. Just hate that you can actually see how the pattern has just gone all freaking wonky. Sort of lines up there. That's okay, it's a little bit better. Not perfect, but it's probably as good as we're gonna get. Oh, probably not, but hey, let's just paint the stuff that's sticking out. There we go. Okay, now I need to try and copy this and put it there. Let's see if this will work. Might not. Okay, we tried. It's probably why it's all wonky. It's because that's too high. Okay, that looks better. If I do that and I snap it to there, do you think it's going to actually snap when I put the other side on? Possibly not. Nope. No, it won't. Okay. So, okay, now that's just disappeared into the great unknown. I'll line that up. I'm not going to do it now. It's just going to take forever. So that's the basic concept of a really pretty little, woo. Yeah, my exit point when I fall through the face of the earth is here, which is really funny. Okay, so these places will fit perfectly. We've got all kinds of jars and boxes and bits and bobs that we can pop in here that will actually work. I've got some Tweety birds. Well, I've got a Tweety bird, which can probably not. Yes, it will stand here. Here we go. That works for me. And I've got some cups and things because I was thinking of putting handles onto the vases. And this cup, for example, has got a really nice handle, but it's very tiny. So I don't know if it'll fit. I'm just going to throw stuff at this and see what we can put together. Here's a little box. I've got this, which will work. It literally just fits in if I can place it like that. And then we can literally turn it upside down. Like the way it sort of jolts around. And it's got on the front of it, it's got the metal there. So that's quite effective. We've got a black one. And then we've got this box, which, I mean, if not, why not? It's sort of like, and that will still fit in there nicely in the corner. So that's awesome. I just thought I'd go through all the stuff that is available to go into, or ashes to go into it, sort of thing. And if we wanted to, we could probably put in a couple of things. Probably wouldn't work on the sides, but we could possibly put in, I mean, like this. The back there. And then we obviously have the, I keep backing into the fountain. And then we have the option to put little metal plaques and stuff like that on them. And lots of plants. We've got, where am I? There I am. We've got all these plants that will work, but I'd really like the red ones. So, for example, the red one will actually sit there. Well, it's the purple one, I think. Will you? Yes, you will. So that would work. Then we've got not as many as I'd like. We've got like that, which will probably sit on top here if we ask it nicely. Yes. There we go. And if we ask it nicely, we can probably put it there as well. But we've got different ones. I think that one's super long. No, that's not too bad. So let's put that up there. And then we can just move it. Awesome. Now I think think I want to move this one on this side because this one's looking a little sad. Maybe on the bottom. That works for me. And if we wanted to, we discovered the last time we actually had those vases that actually end up as the damaged concrete. These ones, we can actually use them as damaged concrete. So they could probably sit on the side here. We can put some plants in them. Edge hanging. I know we can get the black these. Will you fit in there? Yes, you will. Works for me. And then we could always put some flowers into pots and then just lift them up onto the side here. This I'll fix all the weirdness that's happening in the back here. I'll make it pretty. And then I think a bench at the back here. I know the graves are pretty close, but you know, it's always good to have a good bench. We do have a big park bench. We could maybe do that in damaged iron. There we go. Then of course the other thing we do need are some candles, but every time I put candles down I hold my breath because I'm like, is that going to work? Is it going to pixelate absolutely everything? Come on, you want to stand there? I saw you. Oh, it stands. Okay, that's interesting. It stands on top of the box. I like that. Let's change the box. And then this one, I think I'd like to make it gold. There we go. And I discovered something interesting about this place over here. I put lights in here somewhere. There are lights in here. And all I did is place them. There we go. Look at that. How cool is that? I did nothing fancy. I didn't ask. I didn't fight with them. I literally just placed them behind the molding. I just have to find them now. There it is. I literally placed them in like that. That one obviously is not placed correctly. But how cool is that? So now I've got to go find it again because silly me, I didn't hold on to one. I'm going to put it there in case I do something silly like that again. Now if I put that there, I can just see you. Look at that. It glows with a little bit of otherworldliness. And if we wanted to, we could probably place them. No, it won't go there. It will place here, which we don't really want. Maybe. Yes. No, you're not going to sit on the... Oh, nothing wants to place on the grass here. That works. It's got the building underneath it on the grass there. But that worked, so let's do that again. And place one over here. Can you please turn you so it's easy to place you? Thank you. There we go. So that glows. That really glows, which is lovely. Like that. This is super dark at the back here, which I'm not unhappy with. I'll leave that light there for future reference. Let's take it back to daylight. And we don't actually see any of the lights. You can see them shining through, but you can't see the actual light, which I think is really cool. Okay, so we've got our grave half dug. We've got our, oh, we need a wheelbarrow. That's what we need. Where's our wheelbarrow? I want our wheelbarrow. We need a nice, slightly damaged. There we go. Should we park it on the side here, sort of just under the tree here? So you know what? I thought of it after I'd already left the game. I think that makes sense to me. Just in case you need to move more dirt. And then we can probably use our little block here and there if we want to put in a few plaques. Nothing too big. Something like that. And then, why am I copying that? Let's probably go with this. Actually comes out quite nicely. And it's got a nice texture. There we go. And then of course this needs to change because I somehow don't think it's gonna work in those colors. The white doesn't look too bad. We do have this one as well, but I think that's more effective. We've got the big one, which we can probably stand sort of on the top here, but I think I'm going to go with, let's go with the pots. We've got these ones. I guess they're going to be, it's just maybe the same as the actual stone. Gonna have to drag it across, that plant's in the way. There we go. And put in some interesting plants. We've got these. See, that's not as, it's not bad. That could work. We haven't got black roses. That's unfortunate. It looks pretty good. Okay, any other ideas? Obviously I've got to go down here. Let's just pinch the candy cane. The candy coffin. And we've got to stack these on the walls. So if, for example, it's that deep, I'm probably going to be using the archways again. I always end up putting it too high, close to the wall, but it's fine. Let's see. Not bad. Guesstimate. And that will cover the coffin. Come on. You're going to have to be skinnier, aren't you? And then, of course, I put it right back up at the top. So it's going to have to cover the coffin. Maybe what we should do instead is do that. Can I take you out of the equation? Why does that look weird? Only because it's not exactly sized in the actual middle. But we can do something like that with shelves at the back and maybe use this, but I'm doing this but darker because that's the raw stone. And we could probably go with, that's too yellow. That looked like dirt. I know we can't use, sorry, train of thought again. I know we can't use patterns because they just stretch out of all proportion when you do something like that with them. So it's going to have to be something simple like this. And then we can always stack a few coppins in there. I've got some ghost pictures, and we can close this off and then have another one, maybe with like a path that comes around from one archway to the other. And this will be the main meeting hall, which will involve a large table for our guests. And it probably is going to be something like this. Let's place it, and then we can decide what color we're going to do. Don't like that, so we go with gold. That'll glow in the light. That's pretty good. You can still see the red, but it's much less in your face, like that. And then we've got the candles. The candles again, which we can place over the table, wherever the table might be. I suppose we should centralize it, hey? Oh, you can see I'm really in line with everything here. You know, the easiest way to do it is to actually do it this way. Maybe let's do that. So you pick up that hint of red again. That's pretty good. Then you've got the poor trapped people in here. In their cells. The fence works really well there. You literally have the cross braces, which is awesome. But yeah, so let me know what you think so far. Scooby-Doo's coming out tomorrow, so I might do a review on Friday, and then we can come back to this next week. So guys, I think I'm going to leave it here. Clean up that, because it's pretty darn good. Just needs a little bit of work. And then we can take it from there. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day. If you've got this far, please subscribe. And I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.